Johnny Detroit with Vegas Runner. Yesterday we talked a little horse racing with Marco. Today we're going to talk a little blackjack with Mr. Black Book himself. You know, we're a sports betting site. I mean, that's the given. But
that's the bread and butter.
That's the bread and butter. But for people that bet sports, you obviously have
a little gamble.
A gamble in you. So you like all the other stuff.
Dabble a little bit.
Just a little bit. You know, I love going downtown Detroit and playing blackjack. You know, I've had some major scores. I've gotten smoked. I don't count cards. I mean, I press, I get hot, I get lucky. But in the end, I know it's luck, and I just love the rush of it. But you, on the other hand, have been a stone cold killer locally, out of town. You know, and I know people go through every post, every pick, every video, especially you do. You know, and it's almost like the Zapruder film with JFK to find every conspiracy. There's a guy in the grassy knoll. So before we even go into the story, you were at Cosmo the other day. What was it? The guys from NationalFootballPost.com.
Yeah.
And there was some, dude out there.
Some guy, yes. It was this high roller guy
from
New York talking
Bensonhurst.
Talking loud.
And you guys are BSing back and forth, and you mentioned how,
I can't play here.
You can't play there.
They don't want my money.
So you make the reference to him that, you can't even play at the $25 table. He counters and goes, I play X 50,000, 20,000. They don't kick me out. They're not going to kick you off for that. So you made a little
side
wager, more ego back and forth than actual money. You go sit down, you playing $25, and the casino Gestapo comes and kicks you out of the casino.
I bought in for only $500, bro. I told them I won't buy in for more than $500. I'll play at a $25 table on a Friday night in the most expensive, luxurious hotspot in all of Vegas, and they won't let me play. And he was losing. No way. He said, I've seen guys win $500,000, $1 million. I play in the high. And he was a high roll. Yeah. He had the platinum card. He was in that room. He was the real deal. He had money. He wasn't fronting. He was just loud.
He was a legit but cocky rich guy.
Exactly. And he was like, no way. I've heard about that, but it ain't no way. You got to beat them for millions before they take you out, he said. And you're telling me you've only played here 3 times? And you could go down the $25 table and they'll throw you out. And I said, that's exactly what they're going to do.
So real quick, it's the first thing I know that there's a segment right now saying, oh, come on, that's total BS, another VR story. So I called you up because I pre-planned some of the videos I wanted to do. I wanted to talk horse racing with Marco. The sports book stuff we did earlier kind of fell in my lap, with the breaking news. And with you, there's so many things we can go back and forth. We have such similar upbringing, me with like local bookies, more street stuff in Detroit, you in Philly. But with the blackjack stuff, a lot of people on the forums or the videos aren't really aware of the run that you've been on. I mean, I'm talking $250,000 deposits. I have to put my Rolex in my pocket because you're sporting the $40,000 Rolex. No. So I told you bring in some of the slips. From the Red Rock, some of the
lately
casinos.
Deposits.
So grab them out of your bag. Dustin, get the cameras ready.
Here's a few that were in the bag. This is the late deposits. Over the last couple months, over the last 6 months.
This one is from the cashier, Mary Painter, from the Hard Rock. We got a money balance. Can you see that at all, or is it too small? Yeah, it's too small. All right, that's 50 G's right there.
These are all 50s.
That
was a weekend in Harris.
This is a Harris property. This was when you were in New Orleans.
Here's a couple of 50s at the Red Rock.
Does that one show up at all? Up, down?
That one does, right there. Perfect.
Okay. Now, one of my
40 score.
No, this is one of my favorite stories right here. Is not only were you cracking them at the blackjack, but their system, had you as a slot player and as a blackjack player. So you get an invite to a blackjack tournament and a slot tournament. So you go to the blackjack tournament and you win.
Yeah, I win the blackjack tournament, and they have a special. They have this big promotion. It happened over the winter. I know because it was football. And they were given a $500,000, $500,000 prize. If you won, you were first place in blackjack, first place in slots. I win the blackjack tournament.
So the funniest part about that is not only they probably hate your guts already, someone's probably getting fired that they invited you and not the old fat lady in Michigan to play in the slot tournament. So they have this guy who's smoking them in money with a system that was developed by a guy from Princeton, or I think you said, killing for this money. They're like, how the hell is this guy getting in this slot tournament? So you win the blackjack tournament.
and it's slots, it's luck. You know how
Right.
fast you're doing that.
So
you know
now
what I
you're
mean?
2 rounds into the slot tournament.
And I'm in second place.
You're in second place, and if they have some prop thing, it's almost impossible for someone to not only win blackjack but win the slot one.
And I was points away from first. So going into that third round, I was as maybe a plus 110 dog not to win it.
Right.
They brought the insurance lady. What I didn't know, when they have contests like this, they insure them.
Right.
And it was the same company that does like the 50-yard field goals, and they'll insure for Coca-Cola for
Right.
like $5 million. So the lady came up, and her job was to interview me if I won it. And she goes, I'm here because we'll put it on the website that someone won the $500,000 prize that won blackjack and slots. So she was acting like she was cheering for me, but I don't know. Deep down, she probably wasn't.
So I mean, so you didn't win you didn't win the $500,000.
No, came in
But
second.
you still cashed in, Dustin. This is for, I know a lot of people when we have these videos question the authenticity of what we're talking about. Does that show up, the 40 Gs?
It does. You can see the 40. Yeah.
40 Gs from Red Rock. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't go on a run like this with these kind of tickets, and the props and stuff that you've had, and the guys from National Football Post can attest where they were at the Cosmo at the party, unlimited booze, your own butler, the New Year's Eve party at the Platinum Bracelet. You get full access to everything.
Jay-Z,
You actually sat
baby, Jay-Z.
the UFC fights. You actually sat in front of Paris Hilton. So I guess for the audience is, a lot of people. I mean, I love blackjack. I'm a junk. I ain't gonna lie. My favorite time at the casino was 12:01 because that means I can go back to the ATM and draw some more money out because I don't want to go home. And then the worst time is 8 in the morning walking out, holding my eyes, realizing, wow, man, did you really just piss that much away playing blackjack? I can't believe they hit that 16 when I had 20 and got a 5. This is horse shit. Did I say horse shit on TV? It's pretty good. So I guess I don't know how much in depth you can go to, like the basics of what you were doing or any good story. So what I'm going to do, I know I'm hosting it, but we had lunch, me, you, and RJ, and I was just blown away by some of these stories, and you kind of went over some of the
what
ways
we were doing and how we were doing it.
So I guess
truth of the matter is, JD, I would love, because of the problems I've faced lately, it was great. In the beginning, they were throwing everything at us.
$25,000 a trip for some of these casinos were giving you just to
show
money.
up. We had a rep where he would pimp us out to the casino and say, hey, I got a group of fellas. They're going to come in. They'll put this X amount of money in cash in the cage, not credit guys. Some then establish credit, but to make a long story short, and they offer it to different casinos, and depending on who gives us the best offer, that's where we would stay. And some casinos will say, I'll give 4,000 in promo chips for every 6 hours of play, at this average hand. Make a long story short, they were giving us everything, man. I'm talking everything you could ask for, from travel vouchers.
Didn't you go to the Super Bowl?
To promo chips. Went to the Harris box at Saints games, you know what I mean? Like their corporate boxes. You could have been on the Harris float during Mardi Gras. No lie, dude.
You would have showed your tits.
No lie, dude. Like they were like just throwing things.
beads.
No lie, they were throwing things. All these Vegas places are all throwing things, begging us to come. To this day, every day in my mail is stacks from casinos still. But now most of them, I'd say 75% of them, won't honor any of those mailers. I'm just still on the list for the year. But here's what happened, man. Once they realized that we're not going to lose it back, the attitude changed.
Right. I mean,
to this day, they don't know how we beat them because we didn't just use a regular count. When you just go in there and count.
That's what real quick is, I mean, when you were showing me, obviously it's months and months of trying to learn it, but you just kind of learn the basic. Is the genius part, and you even said we added a little street into it, is these math nerds or these guys from these schools that come up with these systems, it's almost, they could see it. They got the bloodhound system or whatever, they go, okay, they're counting cards. As you guys actually said, okay, ways you put the chips out, or the way you do change up the betting in certain times of the count so it throws off the system, you essentially were able to mask and street smarts outsmarted college smarts long enough that you essentially built them for a long period of time before they said, all right, they got us, hit bricks.
Exactly. We would a lot of times have some big bets out there when the edge was even, or even the casino had a 0.5% edge over us. That allowed us to, when we had a 5% edge, to bet a lot bigger.
Right.
We would bet big at the start of a shoe. No card counter in his right mind is going to do that. But we knew that on that first hand coming out, the casino has a slight edge over you. No cards have been seen. we're willing to take that gamble because we know long term we have this kind of
It's
edge
going to
on them.
extend you.
And it was that street sense of how to do this. I mean, the way we would stack chips was if you want to bet $500, we would put $20, $25 chips. Now, when you want to bet $2,000, it's $20, $100 chips. The stacks look the same.
So as they're
the
glancing
color's
over.
different. So as a pit boss is walking by, he's saying, this guy's shoving. He's just shoving chips.
Right.
You know, and then they're realizing, okay, the color, the denominator is
which
different.
sounds like very basic, but it allowed you to do it for a lot longer.
And here's the difference, man. When you count cards, the way they catch you is bet spread. Even if you count cards, for you to gain an advantage, you need to have a bet spread of 1 to 5 at certain, if you count a certain way. 1 to 10 if their deck penetration is this far.
Right.
You know, 1 to 20 if you don't get enough deck. So that bet spread is what gets you flagged as a card counter. Meaning, if you bet $25 and 5 hands later you're betting 500, red flags sound.
Right.
They rewind the tape. They count down the deck. If your $25 bet was when it was even or the house had the advantage and your $500 bet was when you had the advantage, you're done. You're labeled an advantage player. They don't want to deal with you. If you beat them for enough money and you do it in enough places, you'll be in the system and it'll spread everywhere. We were able to get away with it for so long, and we'll still be able to get away with it. We'll still be able to beat you because of the fact we changed that. We're using negative progressive system, which was designed by somebody who came up with just an ingenious way to use it. That negative progressive system is invited by the casinos. They want negative progressive systems
But you made
and
the
positive
tweaks
progressive
that-
systems. Exactly, and I showed you some of those tweaks that changes the whole complexion. The whole battlefield was changed by what we were able to do.
And the best part is, you know, the card counters, they're only winning the money, and then they're getting cut off. Because like you said, is on the surface what you were doing, they looked at it as some guy who bought a book at how to beat Blackjack, and some rich suckers using a system that they know mathematically doesn't work. So they're just getting hot. They're going to piss it back. But they wanted their money back, so they were throwing things at you.
And enticing you to come back like
Because they
please.
thought you were a sucker. And then
Yeah,
eventually they realized, we're not going to get this back. So now, not only do they hate you like they did the nerdy kids that just took the money from them, they hate you because you took money from them longer than you should have, outsmarted the computers, outsmarted the pit boss,
and
plus,
took all the perks.
Plus, they put you front row at fights.
That's what what really pissed them off. The fact that they ran the Bloodhound software, and because I became friends with a lot of these pit bosses, you know, and to this day, no one that went back and looked at tapes could sit down with me and tell me what we did.
Right.
No way could they sit there and tell us what we did because we were able to change it up so much. They thought for a long time we were playing a negative progressive system.
And you're
with
a
negative
lucky
progressive,
sucker.
you're going 25, 50, 100, 200, 400, 600. You know, you keep progressing trying to win that $25 bet. And like they say, a progressive system works until it doesn't. And when it doesn't, you wiped out. You hit gambler's ruin.
And you tossed in the variables. So real quick, I mean, this is something, you know, we could do multiple videos on. Eventually,
Sure.
You know, the casino's probably like, I hope he doesn't do this. Release the magical system.
I'm gonna.
We got the proof.
I will. When I'm done, I'm going to release it. I want everyone to go out there and destroy them. My goal is to make them change the bet spread in anywhere where they take blackjack, to no longer allow the bet spread, which will have our system work, because that's where we beat them, with the bet spread. I need a certain bet spread, and I will wipe out any casino. And right now, you could get that bet spread at 90% of the places, baby.
So in closing, before
They
we
can't
end
beat us. We have an edge. Long term, we have an edge, and we exploited it. I just had to stop, JD, because I kept getting backed off and banned. And I know that every 3 months, a new group comes to Vegas. I've been here 15 years, and I've seen tons of blackjack groups come in and clean house, counting and implementing different strategies. So I know within a year's time, I'll be down at the bottom of the list. Right now, and maybe not even right now, but for that, after those 9 months, I was getting backed off everywhere. I mean, I couldn't play a half hour without getting backed off. So I knew they were all sharing the information.
Oh, for sure.
Because I wasn't even implementing the system, and I was getting backed off.
Hey, we got casinos in Detroit.
I'm there, baby. I'm there.
So in closing, we'll end the video with this. I mean, you told a lot of good stories. You know, some of them, you know, like the one guy with the yellow chips who they told him to turn into a necklace. I don't want to, like, put you on the spot to tell anyone you can't share. So let's say this. Before we close the video out, you know, not super long, if you could pick one really cool, interesting story that we close out with.
True story. We were playing blackjack. 3 of us were ahead. It's midnight, and in the Red Rock high limit pit, anyone that works there will attest to this. Red Rock high limit pit, the masseuse, you get free massage in the high limit pit. The masseuse, a Goldberg from ESPN, goes there. Hank Goldberg. He was playing blackjack.
The NFL guy.
He had the masseuse on him for like 3 hours. So finally, I'm like, I wanted the masseuse. They only had one girl there.
Was she hot?
No, the masseuses aren't that hot. They're not beat ugly, but they're not that hot. Excuse me, girls. These are great girls. Anyway, make a long story short, I'm like, it's midnight, 1 o'clock. We're tired, and all 3 of us are up. And I said, you know, dude, I'm not leaving without my massage. So the girl
the
comes.
$200,000 in cash.
The girl comes to give us the
massage.
massage, give me the massage, and I swear to you, that was one of the nights, because you did have negative runs, you know. We had an edge, but that didn't mean we won over the weekend. We never lost. But there were days we lost. And that massage, I swear to you, I hit ruin on our negative progressive run and lost like 23, 24 grand. Because I waited to get that massage, and they were so pissed. My friends that were with me.
So I'm guessing the next time you went, you didn't get a massage.
No, I always got the massage. I just made sure I didn't wait like 3 hours to get it.
Ace, this was very interesting. Like I said, this is something, you know, other videos with RJ when I'm back in town, the forums, the blogs. I mean, this is something I think people are interested in. I mean, people love blackjack, so appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and pregameforums.com. Check us out.